Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the Operation Motorsport podcast. And tonight, we're going to have pretty packed schedule for our podcast. Got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, though, we're going to welcome Mr. Julian here. I won't spoil Casey's thunder, but we get to learn a little bit about Julian and what he does, which is a little bit of a different perspective from what you've heard about. So, Casey, without further ado, I'll let you take it over, brother.
Yeah, so Julian, great to have you on. Get you to introduce yourself, kind of what you did in the military, and then let's kind of ask you some questions on what you did with the Oppo.
Hi guys, my name is Julian. I've spent 25 years in the military, all Army. Joined as a armored crewman and finished as a traffic tech. Been everywhere, but that's for a later story.
So, how did you find Operation Motorsport?
I came across a business card for Opmo at a Cana Connect in Trenton. My interest.
Nice.
I looked them up online, and it was a done deal.
Sick, and you've kind of had a different role than anyone we've had on before. If you want to say a little bit about what the tech role is like in FEL.
Yeah. So I spent my time last year or the season with FEL in tech, as you mentioned, Casey. And, like every other beneficiary, it was all new to me. New guys, new crew, new tasks. But it's great. In tech, you really do scrutineering, if you will, which I think it's really a mistake of sorts to put an ex-Army guy in charge of standards because you give us the rules and we follow them. But yeah, really in tech, first of all you set up the big inspection rig with scales and everything, and then pre and post race, the 3 fastest cars get pulled in for scrutineering, and then 3 any other cars or whatever they decide. And you check tire pressure, ride height, and camber angle, and anything else they deem worthy of checking to ensure fairness in racing. And during the
Did you catch
race,
anyone?
oh, I wouldn't tell you because you are part of a team in with FEL. But so that's kind of it pre and post race. And during the race, we man the hot lane and the pit lanes, not the hot lane, like the pit in the pit lane, and make sure there's no cheating. Again, only certain people can be working on a car at any given time. Police the speed limit in the pit lane, and any other activities we can assist with as directed by our race director.
Nice. And did you find it related? Like, did you find there was a good relation from your military service to doing something like that?
I did, yeah. So in my previous life, I happened to be the folks from downstates. They understand what, especially the USAF kids, they know what Standeval is in Canada standards, which really is follow the rules and enforce them. And I felt very much at home being part of tech to have that in my background. And then, like any other Army guy, you just need to be told where to be at what time and what to wear. The team is very welcoming, everybody from racers to the actual owners. It was a fantastic experience for me.
Nice. Or would you recommend it to someone that's maybe even not even linked up into racing? Do you think this is a
Uh,
good organization to give a try?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely worth trying, and you might even surprise yourself how welcoming and how caring everyone is. And if this is something you think you'd benefit from, I encourage you to try. Being with the FEL, FEL is kind of the headquarters of it all, the tech part. So being in there, it's not that you're protected, but you're not really embedded with a particular team. So you can see how it all flows. I think it's a great experience. Perhaps should be step one of being in tech and then going to individual teams.
Yeah, I think it's a little more relaxed, and you're not kind of thrown into the wolves in tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Probably is. It's probably a little less stressful in tech. Not that you guys don't have stressors, but yeah. Well, thank you, Julian. I appreciate that and appreciate your insight. It's always cool to hear a different perspective, especially as someone who has a different perspective myself. So it's always valuable to get all angles of what it takes to make a race weekend functional. So appreciate that. And then speaking of race weekends, I was out at Sonoma recently, and I think that's Northern California. I'd have to look at the map, but I'm just kidding. But up in Vine in Vineyard Country, it's pretty cool, man. This is my first time up that part of California. The last time I was there, I was out in the desert called, Fort Irwin. But man, it was beautiful up there. I think San Francisco is probably the most beautiful city I've ever flown into at night, man. It was just gorgeous flying in there. But it was a good race weekend, especially for the beneficiaries and the fans of Random Vandals. Vandals, by the way, I think they have, we count 1, 2, 3. They have 2 active beneficiaries in SRO and then 2 prior beneficiaries, 2 or 3 prior beneficiaries on the team. So Vandals is a huge supporter. You know, obviously they had their cars out of VROR last year. More on that shortly. But Vandals had a killer weekend. They won like every race just about except for one. I think they got P2 in one race and all the rest of them they won. So they continue their dominant streak over in SRO. I think, and I don't want to misspeak, so someone, Tiffany or Jason, someone from the organization could correct me, but I think that was the most active beneficiaries they've ever had in one weekend at 8. We had 8 active beneficiaries there, which was really awesome to see. So yeah, that was cool. And now the SRO season will begin in earnest. They'll be going to CODA next weekend, not this coming weekend, as in here shortly, but the next weekend. Now, this weekend you have Long Beach for IMSA. That should be a pretty cool deal, and that's why you don't see our compatriot Nolan on the podcast this week, because he's already out in Cali, and it's going to be an interesting race. I think, you know, Porsche has had a pretty good run here so far in IMSA, but they got handed a 99-pound weight penalty, or not penalty, but a weight addition to this race. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, maybe Julian can give us some insight on what he thinks on that. Your tech adding 99 pounds to your car, that's going to be a pretty
Oh, it's just
dramatic
a
change, I would think, to how the
brick of
car
fun.
operates. Yeah,
Brick
just throw
of
some
fun,
rocks in
yeah.
there and call it a day. That should be pretty cool. And then, of course, like I said, you got SRO coming out to CODA. That's always a fun time. It's really cool track for them to race on because it's such a huge track. Being a FIA Grade 1, it's so wide. You can really get some good racing there. So that should be exciting as well. And then the big news, like I said, we do have more news about the Random Vandals SR VROR car. We are officially attending the Sim Racing Expo in its first edition here in the U.S. in Charlotte, North Carolina in May. So
Yeah.
Casey, Damien, myself will all be there. So if you're planning on attending the Sim Expo, look for us. We'll be present. We'll have a booth, and we will have last year's U.S. Random Vandals GT4 there on site with us. So you get to check out the car up close and personal. You get to see all the names on the hood. It'll be really cool. It'll be a cool experience, not just for us, but I think it'll be a cool experience as a spectator and a fan. You guys can offer your insight. You guys are going too. So what do you think?
I think it's wicked going Memorial Weekend. I believe we're the only veteran organization there.
We are.
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be crazy busy, which I'm not a big fan of crowds, but we'll make it work.
I think the expected attendance is around 20,000 people. That's what I understand. And there's also there's a little NASCAR race happening called the Coca-Cola 600 there too. So
Yeah, man. It's just a little one. No
yeah,
big
just
deal.
a little one across the street.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. I think, you know, us getting out there and being at the Sim Racing Expo, especially with our e-motorsport side of Operation Motorsport, is a great opportunity to, especially over Memorial Day weekend, to reach veterans that are in that sphere, that are there, and try to bring them in to come race with us. I think, you know, it's always awesome to be able to hang out with veterans, especially our last race that we had on Tuesday. That was so much fun. I don't think I've laughed as hard during the middle of a race in my life, but that was, you know, it's definitely a huge amount of fun. I can't wait to go. There is other things going on. I'll let Richard get into that, but there's other things going on. There's races that are going to be broadcast that we're going to have some of our beneficiaries in, which is going to be awesome to do. And then, you know, obviously just getting to see all the new stuff coming out for, you know, all of us sim racers, right? And getting to meet everybody who comes out. You know, hopefully some of you guys that are watching the podcast, you guys come out. Let us know. If you do watch our podcast and you are there, come let us know. Bug Richard. Tell Richard all the time about the podcast. Like, you know, that'd be dope.
and then we got to recruit Julian to sim race with us, and then we can
Right? Right? Julian, you're next. You're next, Julian.
Okay.
Yeah, you're put on notice. You're gonna have to sim race with us.
I got my marching orders now.
But I think this is really cool. This is really cool experience for us because the motorsport immersion side of things has traditionally been the heavy focus. And, you know, we're going to events for that all the time. But to my knowledge, this is the first event OPMO has ever taken part in to where it's specifically dedicated to the diversionary therapy side of things and the e-motorsports. And, speaking personally, I don't want to speak for the organization, but personally, I'm so grateful to Sim Racing Expo for having us there. I think it's going to be, it speaks volumes that they're willing to have us there and that they saw enough of a benefit from the organization from an outsider perspective to welcome us in. And I personally can't wait. I think it's going to be a good time. There will be some stage presentations of which I will be taking part, I guess. So those will be broadcast. You can go to the Sim Racing Expo's social media pages to find, and I think it'll be on the website as well. So even if you can't make the Sim Racing Expo, you can watch, if you want to watch me and Tiffany and I think it's Johnny all speak.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch that, Johnny Salata. But there's also going to be some pro drivers like Raja Karuth who are speaking on stage and some other presentations. So definitely, even if you can't make it out to Charlotte, tune in to the Sim Expo's broadcast so you can see what all is going on there. And maybe you'll get some peeks like we will of the new cool stuff coming out in sim racing. That's what I would say. And Damien alluded to it. There's going to be a race that will be broadcast during the Sim Racing Expo as part of the Sim Racing Expo. And we're going to have some participants participating in that. We have Nolan Uke, we have Travell H, we have Greg Meismer, and there's Jason, right? Jason McSparron.
Yeah, Jason McSparron.
Will all four be participating in the race in the Mustang FR 500S for us. That'll be around Watkins Glen, the Cup layout. So that'll be pretty interesting, a little bit different from what we usually run. But that'll be a good time, I think.
Really cool. I mean, Luke Crane from Verstappen Racing, he's going to be kind of, doing the broadcasting for it. He's going to be being one of the presenters. Really nice guy. I got to talk to him a lot in our meetings leading up to this. Really, really nice guy. Really cool to talk to. 100% a racer through and through. Like he's definitely, he loves the sports. He loves, the whole aspect of it. Me and him kind of took over a meeting with Jason and Tiffany, and we're sitting there talking Formula One and IMSA and SRO, and they were sitting there. So we had to slow it down and be like, all right, we got to get to work. But super good guy. I honestly think he's, definitely good people. I've had great conversation. The other teams that are competing in the event with our guys, actually the teams that are throwing it on or throwing the event as part of this, great bunch of guys, awesome sim teams that are putting this event on. It's just amazing the amount of love and respect and how it's really, it's a testament really to how the sim racing world is and how close it is to like the race field. You guys are out on the track, you guys are, in the paddock, you guys are having conversations, you're laughing, you're joking, and then when it's time to race, it's serious business. You're getting down to work. It's important, right? Same thing when we're sim racing. I know me and Rich sit in Discord kind of throughout the day, testing new apps and painting different cars, and I mean, we're always doing something in sim racing. So if you are a veteran and you want to get into sim racing and you want to race with us, go to the website. Join up, sign up. Come race with us. We'd love to have you. Season 13 is coming. We've done a lot of planning for it. Hopefully, we're going to have a really, really good season. I know we're going to have a really good season. I don't know why I said hopefully, but I know we're going to have a really good season. So come out, guys. Really, honestly, come race with us. You'll enjoy it. I promise.
I would say too, even if you're not a veteran that's interested in sim racing right this moment, if you're looking for a community, your tribe, if you will, you can still join the Discord and you can hang out and you can have someone there, and you'll have people there to support you the best that we can. That
absolutely.
The fraternity, for lack of a better word, that you might be missing from the military. Maybe you can find their camaraderie might be a better word. You can reconnect with some people who know what you're going through. So even if you're not a sim racer, if you got some time and you're just sitting to yourself and you're like, man, I feel alone, which is where I was before Operation Motorsport. I just kind of, not that I had my girl here and all of that, but there was times where I felt alone because I can't share some of those same burdens with my girls. So you know what I mean? I needed a community of people that understood what I've been through. And even if I wasn't sim racing, that was always a part of it. So definitely, even if you're not sim racing, stop on by.
Yeah, absolutely.
The more people, the merrier. We had VIR. Damien spoiled it a little bit talking about it. But
my bad.
Casey, what'd you think? We heard Damien say
Yeah, I thought it was a blast. I had fun on it. I improved. I, again, was not in dead last place, which is always my goal.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, VIR is where the birth of Opmo happened. That was the first activation, and of course, it's where we have the virtual race of Remembrance. So that's a very important track to Opmo, and so it's always a fun time. And it was pretty cool, I have to say. I think Casey can relate to this. You're coming out of the last turn and you're looking up, and you're like, "Hey, there's the room I stayed in. We were at VROR last year." So that was pretty cool experience, man. Because those rooms were awesome, like right on the track.
Yeah, I was actually showing it to my wife the other day. She was walking by. I
Nice.
was like, "Hey, there was my room."
That's where I stayed, right there.
Dude, that's what I'm really looking forward to in this year. Because obviously this is my first year with Operation Motorsport, but I'm really looking forward to going out to the VROR for the Veteran Race of Remembrance. Like I'm super excited to do it.
Pack
Not
Kleenexes.
just because not just because I'm a super random Vandals fan. Their hat's right over there. So it's also because, I absolutely love racing. I've loved racing forever and a day since I was a kid. I think it starts with Hot Wheels and Micro Machines when I was a kid. Oh my God, I'm age dating myself. Like, your little cars that you're playing with, and then you see the race cars out on the streets. Yeah, I was stuck. So I can't wait to go to it. I think it'll be awesome.
Now you got to talk as fast as the guy from the Micro Machines commercial for the rest of this episode.
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I mean, Julian and Casey were there too, right?
Yep.
They could tell you about their experiences.
Yeah, what'd you think of that, Julian? That was your first VROR last year?
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what to expect, but it's pretty cool to be given the keys to the kingdom, kind of. Here's 4 Army, guys. This is what you need to do. Now do it.
Yep.
No pressure. The drivers want to be on the podium. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be exposed for
I
a
think a
very
recent,
lengthier race.
yeah, and this year will be longer than last year's too. Wales was even longer, but yeah, I think you'll find there's a lot of emotions that'll come out that you didn't expect, and there's probably things you're not expected to happen when you're there. It's just a cool experience all around.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think for me, and I told Tiffany this when I was there, we're getting a little off track, but that's okay. This is an important topic. But I appreciated going to the Race of Remembrance over in Wales. It was a cool experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But it was really cool to have an experience that was like built for us. You know what I mean? As North American veterans, like it was all about us, and not to be greedy, but I mean it's just a cool experience. You know what I mean? Like it's built by us for us, and it was really cool to see it all come together. And like I said, I'm excited to watch it grow in the future as well. But let's see what else we got. Speaking of VIR, we got an endurance race coming up this Saturday. It'll be the second endurance race for the e-motorsports league. So if you're around Saturday, I won't be here. I'll be at a drifting event. But if you're around Saturday, man, show up and turn some more VIR laps with us. That'll be a cool experience, I think. And then on the note of endurance racing, we are starting to seriously focus on our competitive motorsports endurance racing team. So we'll be having tryouts for that tomorrow. Practice tomorrow night, tryouts Monday. So if you're a veteran or active duty and you're listening to this and you're a sim racer and you like endurance racing, go to the website, get into the Discord, and then go to the endurance racing channels and reach out to myself or Damien, and we'll get you squared away if you're interested in trying out. But they'll be competing. Currently, it's the BMW M4 GT3, and they'll be participating in all, I think it's 8 remaining GT3 events for the special events calendar in iRacing. Plus, they'll be competing at the virtual Veterans Race of Remembrance that we'll be hosting in November as well. So again,
and that's that one. Our virtual VROR race for those people that are interested in joining. I totally recommend coming in and joining. Be a part of the community. Come hang out with us. Come meet the guys. You'll love it. Honestly, it's a great group of guys. They're not gonna. It's not like you would think it would be like in most sim communities, where they're guarding what tunes they're using and what setups they have in their car. And if you screw up, they're not going to give you pointers and stuff. No, they're going to help you. They want to see you do better. They want to see you out there racing. They want you door to door with them. That's what we really want. We want to enjoy each other's company in that race. With our ROR race, we are going to do the full length of the real VROR race. So it will be an 8-hour endurance race. So come race with me, please.
Yeah.
Richard won't drive in a car with me. I don't know why.
we all want to elevate each other. I think that's one of the
Absolutely.
important
Yeah.
things is like everybody is here trying their best to do what they can to look out for the other party's best interest. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to, and again, I'm not trying to speak for the entire organization, but from my perspective, I don't think there's anyone who wants to see anybody else fail at all. So it's just a very supportive environment. We got lightning outside, so my dog is losing his mind. Sorry.
It's all good. I saw your chair move, and I was like,
he's
"There's
just
a
a ghost."
ghost."
Yeah, it's my dog he's terrified of thunder, so it started thundering and he was like, "Oh, I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna go hide." But yeah, so the first race for the endurance team will be Nürburgring in May, so it's coming up quick. So, if you're a company out there and you're like, "Man, I really want to get involved in sim racing and I'm looking for somebody to sponsor," we got an endurance
It's
team.
us.
Just say it. Richard.davenport@operationmotorsport.org, or Damien can give you his email too. Reach out to either one of us and we'll get you squared away,
So
man.
Damien.Castro@operationmotorsport.org.
Yeah, reach out to either one of us and we'll get you on the right track because
Absolutely.
we would love support. You know what I mean? But either way, we're going to run it regardless. So we talked a little bit last episode. I guess I'll throw this in there. We talked a little bit last episode about AI and how Moza was utilizing AI. Julian, you've been messing with any AI?
Yeah, I figured I'd see what I would look like if I had my hair. I was not impressed to
I've been
see.
No, wasn't a fan of it, huh?
Yeah, maybe in
I've
a
been building
nicer
some apps for
car.
sim racing and AI. Yeah, I've been building some apps for sim racing and AI. So I built the different things. I don't know if they're useful or not, but it's like something I just do to kill time whenever I'm working. I'll let it run in the background. Damien's made some use of it. I made an app that'll generate textures so you can just throw them around on your livery, different things like that. Just little things to mess around with. I think AI is going to be, whether you're a fan of it or not, I think it's going to become pervasive throughout all of our lives. If it's not already in your life, I think it will be soon. And I'm just curious to see how it impacts sim racing. And I'm curious to see if we see any of that when we go to the expo, because I think it's the future personally. I don't know about what Casey or Julian or Damien thinks.
I think it's going that way. My wife had no experience. She's not very technologically inclined. Set her up with AI and it writes her lesson plans for her college. So it's pretty wild to see, like, takes all the stuff from textbooks, compiles it, makes a lesson plan, quizzes, everything. It's wild to see.
That's how I was. Like, I can't code to save my life. I've tried. I went to college trying to learn to code. I failed at it. Like, I just could not wrap my brain around it. So I'm not someone that didn't try to put in effort and just decided to take the easy way out with AI. I just couldn't learn it. So I started using AI to help me code stuff, and it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that you've made, is phenomenal. So I'm super addicted. I'm not just addicted to sim racing. I'm also addicted to painting cars. I get kind of lost in the woods about it. I've got to be very careful with Richard, the Good Idea Fairy Davenport. He's got me painting a car right now that I'm completely lost in the woods doing research, as a matter of fact, for some of the stuff that I want to put on the car to make sure that it's correct and accurate. But I do love, I was very anti AI. Like I didn't want anything to do with it, the whole Terminator, this is Skynet all over again. We kind of like,
John Connor.
right? Like, how they clone the dire wolves, right? And like, hey, we have movies about this. Jurassic Park, you should not be doing this. Don't do this. Then they come out with AI, and I'm like, has anybody seen Terminator? Like, we shouldn't be doing this. But the more I use it, the more I understand the uses of it and how well we can use it to, and it's silly things that we're doing right now, right? Like I was using it to make textures and stuff that I can put on cars. And then, me and Richard were having that conversation. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm trying to get it to make this silly texture that it won't do it. And it's making like, a 3-year-old is like, hey, make me an eagle. And it's like a 3-year-old drawing. And I'm like, that's not going to look good on a car. So he wrote a program or used AI to write a program. And now I have 1 billion textures to use. So I'm like a giant kid in a candy store with it. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And I think, the more we use it, I think it's going to develop even more. And I think, we're going to see it in not just IRL racing, but definitely in sim racing for sure.
Well, to that point, actually, interestingly enough, there was a company out at Sonoma that were, so Julie, you might find this interesting. They had cameras in tech and they had them on the pit wall and all of that. And basically the cameras were AI and they were watching. And if like too many men went over the wall or like they were held their car too short of a time frame or like their camera was off or whatever, the AI would detect it and then send a message to race control.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a very trial run for the software, I think, that SRO is doing, but it was pretty wild to hear about.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty trippy. I don't remember the name of the company because TBI, but it was pretty fascinating to hear about. I was like, what in the world? Like they're really doing all of this? It was cool.
It's kind of smart though, really.
Yeah.
Gonna take the human factor out of how many people were touching a car. There's gonna be no question.
I think, well, I mean, you're already kind of seeing to some degree, like I think there's some race series even now that are trying to use AI. I think maybe even Formula One, if I'm not mistaken, is using AI to determine when an off track occurred. I think I remember hearing something about that, but I think it's just like baseball is probably going to go the same way. Like, was that a strike? Was it not a strike? Let's just remove the human equation and have an AI determine if that was pitch was a strike or a ball.
Sooner or later, we're going to have Terminators racing cars and playing baseball. I mean,
well, they already have
I
AI racing, but I don't know, man. What was that game back in the day? It was like Super Baseball 3000. And
oh, yeah.
Dude, that game was legit, dude. It was smacking with little robots.
All jokes aside, I mean, I can see how this would be a huge advantage in racing in general. I mean, I don't know from a race control side. I've never been in race control. I'd defer to Julian in it, but like, I mean, I definitely can see how questionable calls that you see in different races, a race control decision that everybody, and we've all seen it in professional racing, race control makes a call and everybody, fans and all, are looking at him going, huh? What? Why? What are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. Right. And like some of us who are hardcore race fans for some series, we're looking through the rule book going, no, that's not right. So, I mean, in that sense, I could see where AI would definitely, like saying track limits, right? Like one of the big ones for Formula One that they have track limits issue with is the Red Bull Ring, right? Because they're going so fast coming into that last turn for the straightaway that they cross that line, and there's always some kind of argument about, did they cross that white line with the inside tires? Was it crossed, and there's all different kind of angles and stuff. So I mean, I think with AI laser watching that line and going nope, but I mean, we've seen AI try to make an eagle, and
yeah there's still a long way to go. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of potential, though.
Oh, I agree.
All those poor marshals will be out of a job, right? Race marshals.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think a lot of people are very afraid that AI is coming for their job. I guess in some cases that'll be true, and that's unfortunate. But
that's been going on for a long time in like manufacturing. So
that's what I was going to say. Like with the advent of computers and automated manufacturing, and it's an inevitability of progress. I see it, unfortunately. I mean, my job, it could be one of the ones affected, so I might be right there with you.
It could be the way of the future.
But I think that the net positives.
Well, it could be the way of the future, but for racing, when you get the thrill of even not being laughed, AI cannot replace that, right, Casey?
Yep.
No, absolutely not.
No, absolutely.
I'll still be sim racing, even if AI comes out and it's like, I could drive like fast as Max Verstappen, and I'll be like, I don't care. I want to drive myself.
Yeah, but I think that's the human element of racing, right? Like, I mean, if you really think about like why we do what we do, right? So why people like Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, Dale Earnhardt and his son, so on and so forth, the Andretti family, the Barber family. We can keep going on and naming different professional drivers, right? I think that's the thrill of it, right? And that's what we do even in sim racing, right? It's the thrill of racing. I know even in sim racing, look, I am nowhere near as fast as a professional driver or an amateur driver in any series, right? I'm probably grandma in their way. I'm definitely not trying to compete at that level. But racing as a whole, if you were to race an actual car, the cost of racing in general is a very, very, very expensive sport to get into. I mean, there's YouTube videos everywhere that you can literally watch where drivers explain how much money it costs to get started, the safety equipment, tires, fuel, maintenance, the car itself, the licensing fees, so on and so forth, and exactly how much it takes for them to race in a series, right? As well as I think I was watching a show on YouTube where they were talking about how some people can get involved in racing, and if they don't pick up sponsors for it, if they don't pick up a seat, they're not driving. They could be as good as Max Verstappen or any. If they don't have those sponsors to help them, they're not racing. And I think with sim racing, with what we do, yeah, I spent my own money on this stuff, but I know when it's race week and it's like Tuesday, like me and Richard were legitimately, we were in there joking around leading up to race day. I mean, we were back and forth. He was practicing. We were trying to get our lap times down. I was trying to reach his lap time. I still haven't reached it. I think I actually
Yeah, you
got it
beat
at
me
the
in the
race, didn't it?
race. Yeah, you
In the
beat me in
race,
the
but yeah,
race.
but I had a toe. So I didn't get the raw. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think it scratches that itch that we all have for going fast. I drive slower now on city streets because I do it here virtually.
Well, it's the kind of unique thing too in sim racing, where it's a little different, in my opinion, from the real race. At least for like our league and sprint races and all that. It's a different case when endurance races come into it, but it's pretty unique because, like, generally speaking, you're in charge of your own destiny when it comes to the sprint races, right? So if you really have no one to blame but yourself. And I learned this from Matt Iott, who the Canadians may know. I know Casey knows who he is.
Yeah.
But I started trying to take the approach for sim racing of, I used to be like, oh, this guy wrecked me, and like, oh, screw this guy, he wrecked me out, and now my whole race is ruined, and blah blah blah, and all of that. And then Matt said everything is your fault. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, wait, hold on here. And he's like, well, he was like, backtrack and think, what did you do to put yourself in the orbit of that guy who is capable of ruining your race like that? If you were faster, and you're a P1, that guy wouldn't have been near you, and then you would have never had that incident. And I was like, God, I hate it, but you're right. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
that's a whole different perspective that I took on thanks to Otmo. But really, there's no one to blame but yourself, and that can be trying, but it could also be very rewarding as well.
Yeah, I think it also it kind of leans into it though, right? Because you take accountability for your mistakes on track, right? But when you have a good group of guys like we do when we're on track, right? You make a mistake, nobody's bearing down on you for that mistake, and
Yeah, no one's cussing you out on mic.
yeah, it's not like the official lobbies in iRacing where road rage is a thing in iRacing. Just saying. But it doesn't happen in our series. In our series, you make a mistake, you may have a driver that sees that mistake or feels like that mistake was caused by their action, and they may slow down and pull over and let you take that place back, or that place that you should have gotten if they didn't make that mistake. So the sportsmanship is really alive, especially in our series. Like, well, I've seen it several times. I know I've done it. I know a couple other people have done it. I know people try to get out of the way, just stay on your race line. But I've seen other guys do it, trying to get out of the way of the faster cars, trying to be considerate with everybody on track. And when people make mistakes, people ask, oh man, what happened? Oh, I overcorrect going into NASCAR. Oh, okay, bro. Well, come back at it. Don't quit. Keep racing. Come, let's go. And I think that helps out a lot too. I really do. I know it helped me out a ton.
Yeah. Again, no one wants to see anybody fail, like I said earlier. So, I mean, it'd be a dream to have a four car roster of guys racing competitively in motorsports. You know what I mean? And just like beating up on Verstappen sim team. We're a long way away from that, but it'd be cool as all get out if we did.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's about everything. Unless anybody else has anything they'd like to add.
Did
Julian,
you see
Casey?
Did you see Team Verstappen's race at the Nürburgring?
Oh,
the
yeah.
4 hour where they got penalized for
No,
having too many
no. The
tires?
one that they just did, they did a
Oh, a virtual one?
Yeah, they did a virtual. They had the whole like Verstappen sim team out there, and then I think it was a bunch of their friends and like some other people there. They were doing the full 24-hour circuit, the full Nürburgring 24-hour circuit.
Is that where Max cut the track and ran into that
Yeah,
guy messing with?
yeah, but they turned damage off,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So there's a scene in there. Like I was sitting there watching it with my wife. There's a scene in there where Max loses control of the Mercedes, and he's like, "Ah!" And everybody started laughing, and he's like, "Nope, nope, cut that, turn the stream off." And everybody's like, "Nope, clipped it." And I was like, "Oh my God, I hope to God somebody clipped it." But just watching them race and goof around, like Max was literally pushing a BMW up the backstretch with the Mercedes. And they were talking about it, how like the Mercedes is just ungodly fast in the straightaways. But he was literally behind like one of his teammates just pushing it down the road. It was such a great thing to watch. Like I can't wait until we get to that level of our streams where we're streaming and we've got a bunch of people doing it. I think it's gonna be so much fun. It
Yeah,
was a great show to watch.
just like I want to see a beneficiary in every paddock and SRO and IMSA, FEL.
Oh, dude, that
Excuse
would
me,
be so
FEL
dope.
and NASCAR Canada. I want to just pack it to the rafters on the e-motorsports side and the diversionary therapy side as well. So
That would be so dope.
yeah, Julian, final thoughts? Anything?
For maybe the ones still on the fence, you heard a lot of acronyms. FEL is one of the main players in Canada now, trying to restart motorsport racing. Come check us out in the summer. Come racetrack side, see us, connect with Casey or I or the rest of the team. Thanks for having me on. I think it was great to see you guys again. And I hope to get
Always
more
a
You too.
pleasure.
beneficiaries to join the ranks. It's a good gig.
That's the goal. That's the
It's a good
goal.
gig.
Yeah, that's a really good time.
And I know we've said it over and over again, but it'll cost you nothing. Literally, just your time. Cost you nothing. Casey, what about you? Final thoughts?
Just come out to the track or join the Discord. Even like Rich just said, you have literally nothing but your time to give up, and I think you'll have an amazing experience.
Unless you're sim racing and then you're giving up a lot of money. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
It's just how that goes.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Damien, final thoughts?
No, I'll just reiterate what I said. Come out, come race with us, come enjoy it, come enjoy the community. Get out, sign up, get out to the racetracks with our programs. Get out there, go see what it's about. I promise you, everything that I haven't been there, but I promise you, everything I've heard, that if you heard it from 500 people and it's all the same, it's got to be true, right? I mean, it's there. Everybody has a blast with it. Come out, come hang out. You'll enjoy it. I promise. It's definitely changed my life, and I can't wait to see where we go from here.
As always, operationmotorsport.org is where you can go check us out. They got the US and Canadian websites, depending on where you're at in the world.
Yeah.
Come out. If you're a veteran, come out. If you're a supporter of us as veterans, just check out the website. We're happy to have you. Hope everyone has a good rest of their week. We're out of here.